Here is the strangest supply and demand failure in the entire economy. More than 60% of American counties have zero psychiatrists. Not a shortage, zero. Wait times for a new appointment exceed 2 months in most major cities. Federal projections warn of a shortfall of tens of thousands of psychiatrists within years. By every law of economics, this profession's pay should be exploding past every other job in medicine. And yet, the psychiatrist earns $200,000 a year less than the orthopedic surgeon down the hall. Medicine's most needed doctor is nowhere near its best paid, and the reason why is a single, invisible ceiling built into the job itself. But here's the twist worth staying for. A specific group of psychiatrists has figured out how to break through that ceiling, and they're quietly earning $450,000 to $600,000 a year while working from home. Today, the paradox profession. Let's run the numbers. Psychiatry occupies a unique square on medicine's chessboard. It has the worst shortage, the best lifestyle, and, relative to its scarcity, the most puzzling paycheck. The dream version, a doctor of the mind. No 3 a.m. surgeries, no blood, standard 40-hour weeks in most outpatient settings, the lowest malpractice premiums of nearly any specialty, and a patient base that, thanks to the modern mental health crisis, is functionally infinite. Recruiters fight over psychiatrists with signing bonuses and loan repayment offers. It is, by demand, the safest job in medicine. The reality has one structural flaw at its center, and understanding it explains this entire episode. Psychiatry sells time, and time doesn't scale. A surgeon's hour can contain a procedure that bills thousands. A psychiatrist's hour contains an hour. One patient, one conversation, one insurance reimbursement that has never caught up to the shortage. The 60-minute hour is a hard ceiling that no amount of demand can lift, unless you change the business model, which is exactly what the top earners did. The ladder, the long medical gauntlet, residency, then a fork with 3 very different price tags. Let's start with the toll booth. Psychiatry is a full medical career, and it charges full medical tuition. 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, where tuition alone runs about $43,000 a year at in-state public schools and about $75,000 at private ones, and the typical graduate leaves owing roughly $200,000 to $250,000. Then the psychiatry-specific part, a 4-year residency. Note that number, 4. Surgical residencies run 5 to 7 years. Psychiatry's is among the shorter ones. In a career where every extra training year is a lost 6-figure earning year, that difference quietly matters. Psychiatrists reach real income 1 to 3 years sooner than most specialists. Total timeline, roughly 12 years from freshman orientation to first attending paycheck. Total cost with interest, $300,000 plus before counting the decade of foregone earnings. But psychiatry has an entry discount no other specialty can match right now, and it's spelled SHORTAGE, because so much of the country is federally designated as underserved for mental health. Psychiatrists have the broadest access in medicine to loan repayment deals. $50,000 tax-free for a 2-year service commitment through the National Service Corps, and state programs stacking up to $250,000 for shortage area commitments. And here's the modern cheat code. With multi-state telehealth licensing, a psychiatrist can now serve those designated shortage populations from their living room, collecting rural shortage money without moving rural. The debt that terrorizes most doctors is, in this specialty, substantially negotiable. The grind here is the same one every physician pays. Residency. 4 years at roughly $75,000 a year, long hours, inpatient units, and emergency psychiatry rotations, while $250,000 of debt compounds in the background at over $1,000 a month in interest. But psychiatry's grind has a texture no other specialty shares, and it doesn't end at residency. The work itself is emotionally load-bearing. The daily material is suicidality, psychosis, trauma, addiction, absorbed conversation by conversation, hour after hour for a career. Psychiatrists sit with the things other doctors get to fix and forget. The specialty's own literature is frank about the burnout and the emotional cost. The 40-hour week is gentler on the body than surgery and heavier on the mind than almost anything. And one more grind that surprises outsiders: the demand itself. When 60% of counties have no psychiatrist, every psychiatrist is triaging an ocean with a bucket. Full panels, wait lists, and the permanent knowledge that saying no to a new patient means that person may see no one at all. In most jobs, being needed is a perk. Here, it's a weight. The reward on the other side: the most flexible set of practice models in all of medicine. Stay with this. The next section is where the ceiling breaks. Model 1. The employed psychiatrist, the baseline. Hospital systems and clinics currently offer base salaries around $250,000 to $290,000 for general adult psychiatry, with recent national surveys putting total compensation medians in the low to mid 300s and one large 2026 dataset at roughly $360,000. Notably, psychiatry's starting salaries jumped over 10% in a single recent year, one of the biggest raises in medicine because the shortage finally started biting employers. Steady, benefits included, ceiling firmly attached. Model 2. The geography arbitrage. Shortage area and rural positions pay $380,000 to $400,000+, plus signing bonuses and loan repayment. And telepsychiatry means rural position increasingly describes the patient's, not the doctor's address. Wyoming rates from a home office in wherever you like. It's the strangest geographic loophole in medicine. Model 3, and here's the broken ceiling: the private cash practice. A psychiatrist who leaves insurance entirely and charges patients directly. $300 to $500+ per session in major markets escapes the reimbursement ceiling that created the paradox in the first place. No insurance paperwork, no panel quotas, full control of hours. Established cash practice psychiatrists in wealthy metros earn $450,000 to $600,000 and beyond, often on 4-day weeks. The shortage makes it possible. When the wait list everywhere else is 2 months, patients who can pay do. Model 4. The stack. Psychiatry's low overhead and flexible hours make moonlighting the specialty's favorite sport. Locum shifts covering understaffed inpatient units at $225+ an hour, weekend telehealth blocks, correctional facility coverage at premium rates, expert witness work billing hundreds per hour. Many psychiatrists assemble a base job plus 1 or 2 of these into 400+ totals without owning a practice at all. And the subspecialty premiums layer on top. Child and adolescent psychiatry, the most catastrophic shortage inside the shortage, commands $280,000 to $340+ as a base, with total packages 10 to 20% above general psychiatry. Addiction psychiatry rides similar dynamics. Cost 1, the ceiling tax, the paradox itself. As long as a psychiatrist bills insurance for time, the 60-minute hour caps volume and reimbursement caps the hour. The result: medicine's most in-demand doctor earns $200,000 less than its proceduralists, and the gap closes only by leaving the insurance system, which not every psychiatrist can or wants to do, since cash practices structurally serve the wealthy, while the shortage rages worst among everyone else. The highest earning model and the most needed work point in opposite directions. That tension is the profession's quiet moral tax. Cost 2, the emotional depreciation. No malpractice policy covers what a career of absorbed trauma does to the absorber. The specialty manages it with boundaries, supervision, and its own therapists, but it's a real operating cost, paid monthly, invisible on every ledger. Cost 3, the risk profile nobody expects. Psychiatry has among the lowest malpractice premiums in medicine, but it carries a different liability. Patient suicide is the leading cause of lawsuits against psychiatrists, and workplace violence rates in psychiatric settings are among the highest in healthcare. The premiums are cheap, the tail risks are heavy. Cost 4, the encroachment squeeze. The shortage is being filled not with psychiatrists, but with nurse practitioners and telehealth platforms whose expansion is explicitly factored into federal workforce projections. Remote psychiatry roles already pay 10 to 15% less than in-person ones, partly because virtual care invites exactly this competition. The psychiatrist's monopoly on the prescription pad is eroding at the edges, and the next 20 years of pricing power depend on how far that goes. Cost 5, the 12-year toll, standard physician edition, the debt, the lost decade of compounding, the mid-30s start. Softened here by the shorter residency and the loan repayment buffet, but never free. The honest case? 12 years and 300,000+ all in, attending at 30 or 31, earlier than most specialists. A blended career, employed base, some telehealth arbitrage, a subspecialty or a cash panel in later years, averages 350 to 450,000 across a 30+ year career. That, unlike surgery, has no physical expiration date. Psychiatrists routinely practice into their 70s, and with 60% of the current workforce over 55, the demand curve for the next generation is effectively guaranteed. Lifetime gross, 10 to 14 million, on medicine's gentlest schedule. The verdict: psychiatry is medicine's value stock. It will never outpay the surgeons. The ceiling is real, and the paradox is genuinely unfair. But price the whole package: near absolute job security, the best hours in medicine, the broadest loan forgiveness access, location freedom no other specialty has, a cash practice escape hatch, and a career that ends when you decide rather than when your hands do. Per hour of life actually consumed, it may quietly be the best deal in the entire physician economy. The market says psychiatrists are underpaid. The fine print says they might be the smartest shoppers in medicine. That's the economics of being a psychiatrist. If you want more professions opened up like this, the paradoxes, the loopholes, the real medians, subscribing takes one tap, and the series continues. Take care of yourselves out there.